and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutalis on Discord.
This is Aaron. I go by Truffenwood on Discord.
Welcome back for yet another riveting episode of Infamous. So starting off with the media portion, there's a couple new things in my catalog. Do you have anything you want to talk about, Aaron?
We've probably watched 3 seasons of Breaking Bad since we last chatted. My wife is incredulous that my son and I are both like deep into the symbology and meaning behind stuff, and she's like, "Are we in fucking English class? Like, what's going on?" I was like, "I don't know. I just like aspects of it."
Every time people get like super heavy into like the symbolism of what's happening in a show, I'm just like, yeah, okay. It's like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't think I recognize that in the moment, and most of the time I like don't pick up on some of that stuff, but sometimes I do. Like, I know at Breaking Bad specifically, there's a ton of symbolism in different scenes that are like calling back to other scenes. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think you need to appreciate the fact that the wallpaper in this office throws back to the tile in the floor of this other room to like enjoy the show.
Yeah, you don't. It's totally not required, but sometimes it can, I think. And I didn't pick up on all of it when I was watching it the first time. So I watched it while I was deployed, so I had a lot of time to just read a bunch of random shit. And so I think for whatever reason, I stumbled across what shit meant. I was like, oh, okay. And then it was kind of interesting thinking about the stuff that I'd watched in hindsight. So anyway, so we should be done probably in about a week with that, and then move on to a series I haven't seen in Better Call Saul.
I really like Better Call Saul. I liked it more than Breaking Bad, and so I think Breaking Bad's a little too heavy. Not that it's like too much to take in. It's just like it's hard to enjoy something that's very, very tense constantly. It just because you lose a lot of the value. I think you get diminishing returns if you imbibe it over a short period. I think it's best when you take a couple days off and come back to it.
Yeah, and we do. But when we watch it, it's like 7 episodes in a row, so we're not watching the way you would recommend, which is fine. And I can definitely get to see some. I can only take Bryan Cranston being absolutely fucking stupid and insane. 7 shows in a row for so long.
Yeah, and that's kind of part of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you just watch like jump scare horror movies for 10 hours straight, it's like eventually you're just jaded to it. Like, it's not affecting you anymore. So it's like you're not getting anything out of it other than bad plot. So like it's kind of like that with Breaking Bad. If the tension isn't getting you, then you're not fully enjoying it, I would say. But
it's finally coming to a head now with where all the different plot lines are intersecting, and like, okay, shit, something's gonna happen, right? But we're also 2 episodes away from the season 4 finale, so stuff has to happen at the finales.
I remember when it was coming out, there's basically a whole group of the fans that were like, fuck Skylar, she's a fucking bitch. Like, if she had just shut up and been happy, everything would have been fine. It's like, no, like, clearly this guy was going insane. And like, now that the show's over, people can recognize that. It's like, it's him literally like fraying apart at the seams. Like, so yeah. Cool. I heard you've also embarked on some show that has like 38 seasons.
Yeah. So when our son's not around, we get to watch NCIS starting in season 1. And let me tell you, going back and watching a show that first debuted in 2002 or something like that.
I was going to say, I was like, that sounds like the wrong number.
So my wife and I were talking about it, like, could they make a show like that? Which seems fucking ludicrous because I was an adult when the show came out. So apparently I'm just ancient now. With the amount of womanizing and objectification and just how stupid Tony is as a character, I don't think it wouldn't fly as a new series today.
So I know you're not a big fan of anime, but talking about long shows, One Piece comes up a lot in those conversations, even though it's an anime, so it doesn't really count for like dramas.
Sure.
But One Piece has had a new episode effectively every week since it launched, because it was not a seasonal show, it's just a every week show.
Yep.
And so it technically launched in the 90s. And so it was October of 1999 the show came out, and its first season ended in 2025. So there's obviously infinite fucking episodes to watch, but it's just funny to think about it like that. Because I think the longest running of those procedural shows is Law and Order, I want to see.
SVU? Yeah, I think so. Unless it's Grey's Anatomy?
Oh god, that show went forever too.
Is it not still on?
So Silent Witness, which is a UK show that's currently still running, that launched in 1996, has 29 seasons. Law and Order SVU is 27. The original Law and Order just says 20 plus, so I guess it's still current but has less shows. Oh, Law and Order SVU is also current. Oh my god, that's so weird. NCIS has over 20 seasons.
It's 23 now and still going, so...
Yeah. I assume that several of these shows had taken some time off at some point, even if they're still current.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I know there was like the writer strike that happened in the 2000s, caused a lot of shows to take a break. The COVID obviously fucked up some stuff. So I don't know. Obviously, if they all started at the same time, it'd be very easy to do a season count. So I know there's something messing with the numbers.
Sure.
But obviously, you know, they've been running the whole time. Like small breaks aren't a big deal.
Yeah.
So let's see. I think I talked about this briefly before. I finished watching Mad Men. It was okay. I like the show. It's well done. I don't know. It's a weird show because you're like, it's kind of like Breaking Bad where you're rooting for the character to do things in the beginning. And then towards the end, you're rooting for them to not do those things. You're like, all right, we've done too much. We need to pull it back. And they just keep going. You're like, God damn it. And how are we going to stop this guy?
Yep.
Is where it's a show where like you see originally it's just fun and exciting, and then you see like the person making these choices is just broken, and it's like that's why they keep doing it. So it was a good show, but I wasn't a big fan of the way it ended. I was very happy that several characters kind of got the good wrap up that they deserved. And it's kind of funny because one of the characters you absolutely fucking hate at the beginning of the show becomes the only reasonable person at the end. So after that, I watched The West Wing. So I watched The West Wing for the first time. I think it was better than Mad Men.
Okay.
Which is weird because it's like lower production value, I think. But the show was just better written. Like I cared more about the characters. I think it felt like it went out of its way to not jump the shark, as where a lot of network shows will do from time to time. So I think I did a good job. My favorite parts of The West Wing, I think, were the election years. Especially, I think the last season was just really good. And then finally, I don't know how many people will be interested in this, and I don't have all the information, but finally, a video game I've been loosely following in the background has finally become early access. It is not available on Steam. The game is called Hightail. Aaron, I assume you have never heard of this.
You are correct.
Okay. So it's basically a successor to Minecraft. And so it's a block game. But the person who originally started developing it basically created private servers for Minecraft back in the day.
Uh-huh.
He basically created a online MMO style Minecraft server where you could level up in different classes, and like there's an economy where you play with other players. There's like preset locations that you go do quests at. And so he kind of like designed all that. It's all just mods to Minecraft. So at one point, he started working on his own version of Minecraft, basically, because his server was called Hypixel, so he named the game Hightail.
Mm-hmm.
And so at some point in the process of developing it, they got pretty far in, and then the game got bought out by, I believe it was Riot Games, the company that makes League of Legends. And then they did a bunch of stuff with it. They worked on it for a while, and then they kind of just gave up on it, and they just canceled the project. So then the original guy, bought it back from the company that he sold it to continue developing it. And then it just launched in early release in January. So it's basically going to end up being a first-person ARPG that is in block game style. So you can harvest resources, you can build your own stuff, there's crafting stuff. But instead of like Minecraft where it's like, I have axe, I made axe, I hit skeleton with axe, that's the combat. You're like, well, I want to use a spear or a bow, or I want to use like paired knives, and like I want to have armor and a shield, and like you can actually have different armors. So like I want to cast magic spells, and you're like, you can actually like build it into an adventure game.
Okay.
And so a lot of that is still in development, but you can get into the world, you can run around, you can build stuff, you can fight monsters. Is in early access right now. But yeah, so I'm excited for that game. Hopefully it continues to develop.
Cool. I'm continuing to play a little bit of Monster Train 2. It's a great way to spend 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, I was talking with CJ a bit last week, and he was selling me on Civ. I've never really played Civ, but I own it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I finally says, I'm going to play some Civ. And so I sat down and I played about 8 hours of Civ. So I still haven't finished a game.
Nope.
But it was surprisingly enjoyable. The thing that surprised me was how I couldn't, watch TV and play it at the same time. But I also don't know what I'm doing, so...
Sure. Takes a little more attention.
Yeah. I dislike how easy it is to misclick and, fuck up your whole turn. So it's I also don't know how, war works. And so for a long time, I was just at peace.
Mm-hmm.
I was I'll just make these people happy and nothing will go wrong. Then I'm eventually this guy's in my area. You need to go away. And so I build all these units. I surround his area and I'm all right, war. And then I declare war on him. I send guys in. And it doesn't work at all like I thought it would. I can't break a city with the people I have. So I've just surrounded him. I'm what now? And eventually I figured out that you need to build siege units. I eventually killed his city and took it over. But now everyone hates me, so... yeah. So we're still working on Civ. We'll see how that goes.
I have not played the most current iteration of Civ.
The one I've been playing is 6.
I think I have a few hours in 6. Not a ton.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that the research trees... were more than just one item at a time. I was I'll just search the next thing on the list that makes the most sense. So I'm just researching everything one at a time. And
yeah.
I'm man, I feel really behind. And it's I am massively behind. And so I realized you could just skip ahead and click on the thing you want and it'll just build all the prereqs for it. I'm that makes more sense.
I mean, you're not behind.
Well, I've been researching everything, though. So I'm just doing everything on the list, starting from the beginning and going forward. And so,
so you're not
everyone
progressing
else has,
towards an optimum goal, but...
Right. I'm just doing everything in chronological order.
Sure.
And it was not working.
No. I will not take iron until I have mastered husbandry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But also, in most games you play, it's once you have a resource, you start stockpiling it. In Civ, it's not like that. It's just you have a resource location is the resource. It's I don't know, it's hard. So I was well, I've iron, so it's well, I just won't build any iron stuff until I need it, and then I still only have 1 iron, and it's been 500 years. Guys, you need to mine this. What are you doing? So yeah, there's obviously a lot of growing pains, but having no experience whatsoever, just walking face first into it, it's been interesting. All right, are you excited for your Blood Bowl tournament this weekend?
No.
Strong. I'll let everybody know that.
Okay. It's hard to get excited for something that you run and therefore have a 50% chance of playing in or not playing in. Am I excited to show up, do a lot of work, read a book for 8 hours while other people get to play games? I'm not against it, but I'm not excited for it. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy putting it on. I will hopefully... I'll be very happy if people just have a good time, but not excited. Are you excited to come to the tournament?
A little bit. We'll see.
Okay. Are you trepidatious in terms of your rules knowledge and or skill with time away?
I expect I will be bad at the game with time away. That's why I want to get a practice game in, because I need someone to tell me how to line up my people again. I don't really remember any of that. Once I'm in it, I think the remembering the strategies, but the problem is I will just Civ, I'll put myself in really bad spots because I can't remember the mechanics. But once things start moving, I'll know where the gears go.
Yep.
And so I'm less worried about things that aren't the setup portion of the game. Once I start playing, oh, hey, did you remember to take these skills because you need them to win games? No, I didn't know that, so I'm fucked.
Yep.
I think my team's pretty straightforward. I do want to eventually play an agility-based team that seems fun, because all I've ever really done is play bashy teams.
I still don't like the super agile elf teams, but I like mid-range, and I like bash.
What is, would you say is the, best agility team?
Word answer, the team that has word answers. What else? Yeah.
Is that just because the word answer is completely fuck busted?
Yes. As long as they're able to afford everything that they want, Wood Elves have the same agility as all the other elves. They have access to 2 people with the best starting skills in the game, and they also have a treeman to give them just a random strength 6 dude on their team for no reason.
So, in your opinion, are treemen better than other big guys? Because I always assumed Take Root was not worth strength 6.
It depends. Wood Elves get away with it because if he takes root, you can choose to kind of, fight where he is, and you have the mobility at move 8 to just score from wherever that is, because it's going to be, at worst case, on line of scrimmage. And best case, it's 3 or 4 squares past the line of scrimmage. So, unlike, say, a team like Orcs, which if they have their big guy stall out 1 square past line of scrimmage, that guy is not going to be able to help them score. Like, they're going to have to push past that location to be able to then get in a position to push the ball in the end zone.
Yeah.
So that's why I think Wood Elves suffer less of a detriment if the treeman takes root than other people.
I always thought High Elves were one of the better agility teams, partially because they have all the generically good skills, but they also have higher armor. But I guess they are slower than Wood Elves are.
I would take High Elves in a league because they're going to they're going to live. Wood Elves in a tournament are going to have the peaks and valleys. Like, you will just get exploded some games because your armor is so low compared to the other elves. But if that doesn't happen, if they stay on the pitch, they are better than every other team.
And I think historically speaking, Dark Elves have been considered the best elf team, but they're not really a passing team.
They're not a passing team.
They're like a high agility stabby team.
Yep, they were a running elf team. They were amazing with 4 blitzers. Now that they're down to 2, jury's out on exactly where they're going to settle.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it will come down to tournament structure and tiering for the various teams. But if I had to rank the elf teams, assuming that they're all tiered the same by a tournament, it would be Wood Elves, High Elves. Actually, it would be Wood Elves. Oof. We'll call the second one as a tie between Elven Union and High Elves, and then Dark Elves.
I always forget Pro Elves are a thing.
Yep.
Nerves of Steels is so stupid.
Yep. A group of us are getting together on the 22nd to test a lot of different builds into each other. It's the 4 people that we're taking up to Detroit in June for the Oracle Cup, which is the every other year North American team tournament. And so there's a lot of obviously different builds that are viable, and we're just gonna throw them into each other and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yep. I am most interested in taking dwarves with a death roller, Amazons with a star player called Anky Panky, black orcs with Lord Borak, or snotlings with a bevy of star players. Probably Ripper Bullgrop plus someone. I haven't fully built that one yet, but those are kind of the 4 top contenders.
Yeah, I think I'd like to put a snotling team together at some point. Pump wagons just seem hilarious.
And now that they're not secret weapons anymore, hilarious and good.
Like, I assume you just put Frenzy on the pump wagon at some point?
So no one's played, I haven't seen them played since they got changed. Why would you put Frenzy on the pump wagon?
Well, it's got Juggernaut, so you can't stand from it, right? So Frenzy will trigger, and then, in case you don't get a POW, you get to go again.
Okay, this goes back to we talked off air. I don't like putting Frenzy on pieces that don't have block.
Sure. I mean, I'm talking, I always view this game from the perspective of a league. Sure. I just imagine over the course of a league, he'll get more than 1 level up.
Got it.
And so
I never
block
look at it. Yeah.
Right. And so we just have different approaches because my 100% of my experience of Blood Bowl is league play, and the majority of your experience is tournament play. And so, I look at this as, well, what can I do other than the obvious to a model to make it perform better? So obviously, block will be there at some point. Frenzy, I think, gives it more consistency as far as dealing damage. I guess I just know that block dice are not reliable. Like how many times you can roll before knocking somebody down.
It's a lot.
And especially on a team that relies on its high strength characters, because the majority of your characters aren't hurting anybody. And so the ones that you have that are above strength 1 need to be hitting hard. And so Frenzy's a way to get extra chances.
Sure. Snotlings can put a lot of beef on the table. You got double pump, double troll, and then 2-star players looking at 6 strength 5 models.
Also in League play, team values tend to balloon pretty heavily, and so you'll get literally your pick of star players throughout the league.
Yep.
You're like Ripper and Morg in one of your games at some point, and you're just like, fuck it, like send everybody.
Yep.
Call the police.
Play more than my fair share of games against Morg Snots.
I assume, I'm checking it, yeah, they get devious skills on all your Snotlings. So you can just have, assuming any of them ever level up, you'll get dirty player Snotlings.
Yep.
Can your swarming Snotlings, I mean, I don't know why they couldn't, I assume they can foul.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Because if you get sent off, you're done for the game, right?
Correct.
And not just for the drive. So then next time you set up, you'll get your swarming guys back.
So wait, what do you mean by swarming?
Didn't they have the swarming rule where every time you set up a drive, they get D3 extra Snotlings?
Those have to come from your dugout. They don't just appear from the air.
Oh, I thought they were free people. That's the way it was explained to me.
So,
yeah.
There's a rule called, I don't remember what the rule is called. For 100,000, you get 2d3 plus 1 extra Snotlings join your team when you start the game. Riotous Rookies. Okay. That's the name of the inducement. So it's called Riotous Rookies. You get, again, 2d3 plus 1, between 3 and 7 Snotlings. They all have the Journeyman rule. Mm-hmm. So you have to roll a die if you want to try to use a reroll with them. But otherwise, they just join your team. So you can have 23 players in your dugout.
Yeah.
And then when you set up, you add D3 players from your dugout to the pitch. And so you're going to have, instead of 11, you're going to have between 12 and 14.
Okay.
So that's how those two rules interact. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
I need to just sit down at some point and go through a bunch of the star players. It's just hard to tell which ones are like terrible and which ones are good.
If they cost over 200K, they're good if they have the word block next to them. Fixed it for you.
There you go. Well, that's not true of all of them, right? Some of them are the exception.
I'm sure there are a very small handful of exceptions.
I'm just thinking, because like someone who hasn't played the game in a while, like the context kind of goes out the window. Especially when you don't know what every skill does, and because you'll run into weird ones, like Monstrous Mouth, so you'll just have to look up a bunch of shit. And when you're doing it on PDFs, it's much harder because you can't just quick reference.
I wouldn't take a star player for Monstrous Mouth. How about that?
Yeah, I assume that's probably a good call.
Now, a star player value will literally come down to what strength are they, and how many of block, dodge, guard, tackle, mighty blow do they have.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, there might be a couple exceptions, but.
A lot of the better star players, too, tend to have, unique rules.
Yep.
Where, what was it? Griff gets, 1 reroll per half.
Mm-hmm. And that's fine. That's not why you take Griff. Maple has the best special rule in the game. Maple says once per half, I believe. I had to check half per game. I think it's once per half. It might even be once per drive. You can throw a block as if you were 2 squares away. From 2 squares away as if you were next to them. And Maple has a rule called grab. So Maple can take you from 2 squares away and push you 1 square toward the sideline, and then Maple's frenzy friend can just surf you. So you're 3 squares away from the sideline and not next to any of my guys. And with that combo, it's pretty sick.
Yeah,
I like Maple a lot. Maple does not have block. Maple's the one exception to over 200K will take without block.
Now I'm curious how much he costs. Anyway, are you pretty excited for Adepticon?
Yeah. I'm really excited for, this is the nerd in me, trying to figure out if staying in an adjoining hotel with the extra cost there plus the parking is going to end up saving money because we have food in the room and don't have to eat convention priced food or not, right? So I'm just sitting here at a spreadsheet being like, I just want to know, is it going to be more or less expensive than last year?
Yeah.
I'm also excited for the games.
I think... Yeah. I did like the price of our Airbnb last year. God, it was so cheap. I want to say we paid $90 a night. Maybe it was $150 a night, but we had 7 people there because it was an entire 3-bedroom townhouse.
You're saying you each paid 90 or 50?
No, I think our room was $150 a night. We were there for 4 days, so it was $600. But we split it 7 or 8 ways. And so my room cost for the weekend was $80.
That's good.
Now we were, 5-minute drive away from the convention center, and so like that's annoying because you're not attached. If you want to go home for lunch, that's a big ordeal when there's only 3 cars between 8 people. The little pavilion area we ate at last year was okay, but it was expensive for what you're getting, obviously, because it's like, touristy.
Yep. Our plan is to get there Wednesday, head out, hit a Walmart or a different grocery store somewhere, stock up for the weekend. Bring Judgment, bring Blood Bowl, bring some board games, and then once the actual gaming's over, just chill. Drinking beer, eating hot dogs, playing board games.
Yep.
Do you know when you're leaving?
I think me and Parker agreed to leave Wednesday.
What time on Wednesday?
Because we usually leave
after his work.
Well, historically we've left later, but
Okay.
We haven't really talked about it. Okay. I'm fine leaving later because I'm already awake till 5 in the morning, so it's not a big deal for me. But obviously it's different for everybody else. Historically, leaving around noon has been pretty common because you're leaving Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jim also said he's going to be leaving Tuesday. So
cool.
Yeah, I need to figure all that shit out. Season tickets for the Chiefs are also due this weekend, so I need to get that figured out too.
Lots of fun stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Got to decide if I'm going to the Calling for Flesh and Blood. It's the weekend before Adepticon in Memphis. So I would be leaving on
8-hour drive back to Kansas City.
Driving to
just
Memphis.
To turn around.
I'd get back on... Here it's debatable depending on if I go with other people and what their plans are. Either getting back late Sunday or staying in Memphis on Sunday and getting back on Monday to then turn around and leave on Tuesday to go to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. It'd be better off if you just stay in St. Louis for the day and a half.
If I'm traveling with other people from the area, then we need to come back to Kansas City. Also, it would not be wrong to do laundry and just crash.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just thinking they could drive there to meet you, and then you just get in their car and go the rest of the way. And then
except St. Louis isn't on the way to Memphis.
It's like 40 minutes out of the way.
Oh, it's way more than that. So
that's right.
Kansas City to Memphis.
South of me. I'm going from Kansas City. Yeah. Because you have to go north to get to St. Louis. I don't.
Like 20 minutes. But even from Kansas City to Memphis doesn't go through St. Louis.
Drive.
I think Kansas City to Memphis goes through, it cuts Missouri diagonally.
Yeah, there's a more direct way if you're not going to St. Louis, but it doesn't take. I can't. They're such short, shallow angles. It doesn't really change much. Because we did this one year. Me and Max went to a Tennessee Titans Chiefs game away on War Machine weekend. So we drove to St. Louis and then hung out for an afternoon. And then after dinner, we drove to Nashville, which is a little bit different of an angle, but it's about the same.
Okay. It's only half an hour more to go through St. Louis.
Yeah, it's not bad. And when you're talking about the difference of getting a break in the drive, what's 30 minutes?
Yep, I'm with you. It's an hour different from my house.
Yeah, because you have to go north.
Yep.
And it's not really the lateral positioning. It's just that all the roads near your house are slower speed limits than being on the highway.
Yeah. It's 70 or 83 miles shorter to go just direct, but only 50 minutes because they're all on back roads. Oh well. So I've got to decide if I'm going to do that or not.
That seems excessive, but you do you.
What else am I doing in my life?
I mean, watch Law and Order, I guess.
I could do that. I've started to knock out my painting backlog with my Judgment models.
Nice. Do you have all of the star players painted?
Yes. I think there's 2 I don't. I don't even remember which ones they are. Now, when I went through and I bought all of my Blood Bowl models about 5 years ago, I put emphasis on the teams. So teams that I liked, wanted to play, I bought more expensive, in my mind, better versions of those models that look nice. The star players, I generally took the cheapest third-party option that looked vaguely like it could pass for that star player.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because how often do you play some of these super random star players?
Yeah.
Like Anky Panky, if
especially
I play him in Amazons,
play,
that would be the first time I've ever literally even seen Anky Panky on the table. So, so yes, I own a model for every Blood Bowl star player. But I might have to tell you what this model is. You mean, okay, I guess I can see that. It's not readily available. It's not like playing Lizardmen. These are my swords. These are my skinks.
Yeah. Yeah, every time I go to look through, because I have the old Living Sixth printed out rule book, like just on, printer paper. And I remember it was so many star players. I don't know if they pared it down or even increased them. I have no idea what the number is anymore. Do you know roughly how many star players there are?
It's pared down. I want to say there's probably about 80, but that's just a rough hack. Maybe 100. Yeah. There are definitely, I own, because when I bought everything, there were a bunch of star players that had rules in 2016 that ended up not getting rules for 2020. And those star players still don't have rules in 2025. Mm-hmm. So they cut down significantly on the number of star players in the game. And they have added some of them back as they go through their they're called Spike magazine when they release a new team or an updated team. They have usually included 1 to 3 of the old star players back into the game. However, they just finally in 2020, I don't know, last year, 2025 or so, they finally had a model available for every model that had rules, which is good as a company. So there were, you said, so many models, so many star players in the game. But GW did not.
And you're like, what? I don't even know what this is. Like, there's no description on what even race this model is.
Yeah, GW did not have models for all of these. Or sorry, they didn't have physical models for all of the star players in the game. And so they have slowly cut all of them out to where now every single player that has a rule in Blood Bowl has a model produced by GW for it. So
yeah. I brought this up because I went to the GW website this last week because one of our locals was asking about Blood Bowl, and we started pulling up the Blood Bowl models that were in production at the time, and it blew me away how many star player models they had on their website. Now, almost all of them are like out of stock or resin kits, but I was still surprised at the volume of them. It was like I couldn't have named more than 5 of them. Like, it was like, all right, well, this is Griff, this is Morg, and then it's like, that's the vampire dude, and you're like, oh, there's the werewolf guy, and then after that, it's like, who the fuck are these people? Like, there's a werewolf, there's like this weird centaur dog man thing. I'm like, what the fuck are these things?
That sounds like Thark the Unstoppable.
Yeah, probably. Well, I'm personally so accustomed to seeing some of the third-party miniatures because, I sell them on my website. Sure. And so, like, when I think of Glottal Stop, I think of the Brute Front Glottal Stop. I don't even consider that it looks like anything else.
Yep.
And so one of the funny parts, though, is a lot of those star player figures are based on really old sculpts or are the really old sculpts. And so, like, they look way less intimidating than just the new models do because, like, the new models are either bigger or just more dynamic looking. Yep. So, like, you look at Glottal Stop and you put him next to just the regular Croxagore, and, like, that's way more terrifying, just the regular Croxagore.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into our Mojo world. I think we might have done this before a long time ago, but I think really we just did something similar to this, so maybe I'm wrong, though. We're going to do Quentin Tarantino directed movies. All right. So, Aaron, you weren't on last week, so you get first go.
It's actually a challenge.
Oof. I think there are at least 4 no bad answers.
Yep.
Then you could arguably push that to 6, but I think there's a clear-cut top 4. I think a lot of people would agree on what the best one is, but it's still close.
We're going to go Pulp Fiction, number 1.
Yeah. I think that'd be unanimously, everyone agrees. Or at least isn't willing to argue it.
Oh, there are plenty of people willing to argue anything in this world.
Right. All right, so I'm going to go with Inglorious Bastards and Django Unchained.
I'm going to go back to his earlier work, which I prefer, and Reservoir Dogs. And we're going to go Kill Bill Volume 1.
I also think Kill Bill 1 is better than Kill Bill 2. All right, that's going to leave me with The Hateful Eight. Solid. I think this is a good list. It probably would have been better with 3 people if Parker hadn't bailed on us. But I think at 3 people, you at least have to start making some hard choices.
Yeah. Well, there are only 4 left, so you should just give 3 of them to a Ghost Parker and see if Ghost Parker can beat both of us.
Ooh, that's interesting. Every time we do this, I get mad, though. 'Cause like, why are people so mad at voting? Like, there was one week where I was like, you literally can't win harder than this. Like, this is the most you can win by, and we ended up, like, tying. I was like, I no longer believe in humanity. Like, I'm just gonna fucking kill myself. Alright, so let's see. Let's give him Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Jacky Brown and Deathproof.
That's going to be a hard act to follow. All right, I like that. Ooh, even better. Let's put his first, like he picked first. There we go. So that way he left Pulp Fiction on the board. Yeah, he's going to get roasted. Cool. So going back to one of the first things you said on the podcast, like the symbolism and stuff in shows, sometimes in movies. Mm-hmm. I didn't know this. I saw it in an interview recently that the Hateful Eight is meant to be an homage to The Thing. Have you heard this?
No.
John Carpenter's The Thing.
Okay.
And so the hat that oh god, I can't remember the character. The character's name is Bob. I want to say Senior Bob in the movie. The hat he wears is supposedly the same hat that Kurt Russell wore in The Thing. But the whole point is that it's the setting of you're isolated in the cold and people start disappearing and you don't know who the bad guy is. Mm-hmm. And so it's supposed to be like almost like a honorific remake of that movie was the point of it. I also saw Quentin Tarantino talking about the movie. Originally, when he started writing it, the part of Samuel L. Jackson was originally... No, it wasn't Samuel L. Jackson. It was Walton Goggins. The sheriff was originally going to be Django from Django Unchained. He was going to come into this movie as well. But he ended up cutting that because he didn't want you to know who the good guy was. Anyway, well, hopefully you guys had a good time. This has been Brandon.
And Aaron.
And you've just listened to Blood Bowl.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.